The official servers. Truly the unruly wild west of Pathoftitans. No gameplay rules. And if you stop questing, you stop growing. The global chat is saltier than a Titan's diet. Even the trailers show massive clan wars that leave no space for solos or small groups. The mega mix packs are either hunting everything, or making sure no one hunts anything. At least that's the impression I've gotten from reading discussions about the officials. I've always preferred community servers. Faster growth, less grind. But today, I decided to hop in and see what it's really like. I was trying to make my way to my groupmate, jumping down cliffs, when I heard footsteps. 2 Titans, Jovies like me, so not exactly a threat. I could have easily just run from them, but I wanted to have a little fun. So I announced myself with a lovely little screech. Sure enough, they got curious right away. But even as Jovies, Titans aren't exactly built for cliff jumping. Their ankles are a bit more delicate than mine. So they hesitated to jump to me. Instead, they tried to surround me. One held the high ground, the other quickly made its way down to wait at the bottom. But when I made no effort to climb or drop, they switched tactics. The one at the top went down to its friend. They were friendly calling, teabagging. Yeah, I'm already suffering with how fast Sarah's food drains as a Juvie. And Titan's food drops even faster. I don't think they were looking for a friend in me. One of them eventually figured out the safe path closer to me. And the one at the bottom rushed back up too. Okay, that's close enough. That's my cue to keep moving. Bye! The duo shouted after me. Even in chat, they insisted they were just friendly. But hey, I can't blame them for trying. Everything goes on officials. Not today, Titan. Not today. Another Juvie Titan. It was going towards a waystone, maybe just a quest, but there was a chance it was trying to teleport someone here. I don't really like to attack players at waystones, but we were both literally starving. And we had to act fast before it could summon whatever it was maybe trying to bring here.
Wow, that is delicious. Finally, some good food.
Well, I know the food amount that babies give was reduced, but this felt like a scam. It was so much larger than us, yet gave nothing. Now my health was so low that even a critter would be a high-risk fight. Did you know pressing the like button spawns a piece of meat you can feed to these poor hungry little baby ceras? Thank you so much. We could smell poultry in the air, and a kilo accompanied with the Latin. Neither one fully grown, but big enough to mess up a fresh up cera. But probably not two. So when the kilo saw there were two of us, the fight turned into a chase. Props to the Latin for the cool dodges, but I was more interested in catching the kilo. The Latin seemed like it was trying to bait me into a chase, so I figured the kilo most likely went this way. But unfortunately it had already gone too far, so I just sat down to heal and get my stamina back up. I don't know why on earth the raptor thought this was a good time for a little swimming. But I don't mind. The Akilo got away, and I really needed the food. I actually respect a player who, instead of swimming in the middle and drowning so I wouldn't get the food, tried to make it back to land, even though my smelly breath was the first thing waiting on the shore. One pretty big difference between community servers and the officials is the amount of marks you get from quests. Pretty much all community servers boost the rate a lot, so in officials we actually had to choose which abilities to buy first and which ones had to wait. I was done being hungry all the time, so I saved up enough marks to buy the scavenger diet. Now I could eat that suspicious green meat from Platties, fish, though I have no idea how I'm supposed to catch those as a Cera, old nasty smelly moldy meat, and bones. And another difference from community servers. I had to go to the home cave every time I wanted to switch my abilities. Wait, I can't eat normal meat? Yeah, back to the home cave, to switch back to the hyper carnivore diet. I guess I can only blame myself for not reading the description. But come on, I would have been fine with faster food train if I could eat more things, not just different things. We were finally adults. But because of that, eating critters didn't really fill our needy stomachs. So, when we saw a lone titan, we went straight after it. Yeah, not a surprise. Cera can't cause full bone break, but even a fracture slows Pykno down enough to make it second guess attacking us. The Titan saw its opportunity and tried to make a run for it. But we wanted the food, and the Pugno had already popped its ankle bones back into place, and was at full speed, way too fast for us to catch. So, after the Titan we went. We heard the notion of a fight and got curious. A beat-up Alio ran past us, and I hid in a bush just wanting to watch the fight, not really participate. A gang of Pugno and its smaller friends came up from the crater. The Alio was still healing nearby, and the Pugno decided to close the gap with a charge. Too bad its path went right through the bush where I was hiding. My principle is that if a Chewie joins a fight, I don't hesitate to kill it. If it stays back, it can go, and even have the trophy. But since this gang was all for blood, we decided to play the same way. The speedy Deinonychus snatched the trophy, and we didn't want to give it to it for free. But Yuhmus kinda overestimated the strength of his legs, so we had to give up. You know there's a path right there that goes down? Out of the water came a Spino. It seemed to be just collecting bones, but it was pretty suspiciously going towards the bush where Yuhmus was healing his broken legs and pride. So Yuhmus felt it was better to get up and heal elsewhere. When the Spino saw us, it forgot its bones and got really mad. This had to be its private property or something. I don't speak Spoon, but I can only imagine what those calls meant. Sarah's threatened call is kinda underwhelming, so instead we gave a more traditional Ceratosaurus answer to the Spino. Yuhmus fell for the taunt and went down to fight the angry Spoon. I wasn't exactly eager to fight the Spino this close to water, especially since I wanted to safely deliver this hard-earned trophy from the Dasp we just took down in the close fight that almost cost us our lives. So I just stayed up and spectated. But screw it, fine. While we fought the Spino, another carnivore came to the area to quest. A Daspletosaurus, and this time not a sleepy one. If it teamed up with the Spino, we would be in real trouble. It does a lot of damage and is as fast as us. The Dasp was done with its quests and wanted to join our skirmish. It literally screamed its eyes out. And beat the Spino! Awesome! Our chances of actually taking the Spino down just went way up. A spino far from any big lakes? Yeah, we have to try and fight it.
What was that noise?
Look at this legend coming to help us. Oh, never mind.
I don't care who it is, I just crave blood.
I'm not saying escaping the water is in any way a stupid move. I get it. And I don't think name-calling anyone in this game is necessary. But I'm also pretty sure the chickens in this situation weren't the two Ceros who didn't follow a semi-aquatic apex into the water.
Yeah, Mom, show them.
But yeah, this Spino could just stay in the water and we could just go heal in the forest, so there was not going to be an ending to this fight. So we chose to leave. We were following an Allosaurus we spotted from a distance. Not totally sure which turn it took, we ended up getting separated. And of course, I didn't notice. My dumbass thought it'd be a great idea to yell at the Allo, hoping to distract it so Yuhmus could get the first bite in. Yeah, except he wasn't with me, so I just ended up screaming at the Allo like a toddler having a tantrum. And the Allo had definitely seen both of us already, so yeah. Turning the fight in the face tank was a pretty dumb move, but I'd already burned my stamina running and shoving around, so luckily it paid off. 2 titans, 1 adult and a smaller one. I wasn't really interested in attacking them, but the bigger one decided we were going to be their next meal. Okay, you can call me a coward for this one, but when I saw there were more dinos coming, I chose to run. I was pretty far, so I couldn't really tell how many and what age the dinos were, but what I saw looked like 1 or 2 conkas and a spoon. I could hear the Spinotriton roaring too. My Cera has a build that takes extra damage from bleeders, so if a titan landed 1 heavy bite on me, the conka could just swoop in and finish the job easily, being a bleeder and faster than a Cera. Not sure if the whole pack would have actually fought us, but we saw them exchanging friendly teabags and continuing on together. Good thing we've got these peacekeepers, because how dare we fight back after being attacked? Some time passed and we were still in the same area, and look at that! The same Titan bear was back, clearly feeling confident after seeing us run last time. Their little backup party wasn't with them, so we were totally ready for round 2. A Pukno appeared, very familiarly colored Pukno, the same one that tried to sneakily attack me when we were fighting the small titan. But instead of coming after us, it actually went for the titans. I felt bad that I beat the Pykno at the end, so it felt fair to let them have the trophy. You know what goes great with rotten meat? Milk. We'll go get some. Overall, our experience on officials was pretty chill. We didn't meet her regarding mixed packs or any huge Discord groups. Of course, the end was a bit of a bummer, with 4 Pyknos, a Cera, and a Conka, a pack we wouldn't have met on a semi-realism server. But hey, at least we took 2 of the Pyknos with us. Unlike on the community servers I usually play on, instead of going back to adolescent, we lost basically no growth. Well, I did lose my beautiful leprosy look and some coins, but still, death didn't really feel that punishing like I guess I was expecting. Chat, of course, was pretty amusing background every time I glimpsed at it, but I like to play with chat turned off, so I kind of missed the true toxicity of the officials. And growing with only quest wasn't as grindy as I thought, now that you get a bunch every time you visit a new area. I even grew an Albert in one evening just to make the little joke at the start of this video. I'll definitely play on officials again,